thing, you know, they're playing, you know, those guys. Hi, Russ Miller here. I'm 46 years old. I was born in Canton, Ohio, which is in the Midwest of the United States. And since 1995, I've lived in Los Angeles. My current band, I work with several different artists. I work with Andrea Bocelli, a singer from Italy. I work with Kavita Krishnamurthy and Dr. L. Subramaniam, who are a very famous singer and violin player from India. And I also have a touring band called Arrival that supports all of my various solo albums and projects that we've done over the years. And then I go out with a couple different artists that call periodically as well on short tours. And that can be anybody from Jarreau to Bobby Coldwell to Tom Scott, different artists like that. I play primarily drum set, but really all percussion. I do a lot of movie soundtracks and session work, and in those sessions I'm often called upon to play some percussion things. I don't really call myself a hand percussionist, so I wouldn't necessarily take a gig on congas or anything like that, but I can play all those instruments a little bit. And also tune percussion a little bit, like mallets, vibes, timpani, things like that. And I play enough piano to do a lot of arranging and orchestrating and, of course, composing for my various albums. Endorsed by Mapex Drums and Hardware, Zildjian Cymbals, Remo Heads, Vic Firth Sticks, DW racks and hardware, Randy May internal microphones, Hercules microphone stands, Aspire drumming shoes, Porter & Davies monitors, Zoom electronic cameras, AV products, Prologix percussion, practice pads, SimPad, switch kick, and Mino percussion. The first drummer that I knew or was influenced by was Buddy Rich. I was raised with my grandparents, and my grandfather was a huge music enthusiast, so he was listening to a lot of big band music, so I heard Buddy Rich really first. Long-time student, I started studying at 8 years old, and I've never stopped. I've taken private lessons my whole life, and I currently study with Peter Erskine. And I've always had a coach. I've always studied and went through all the different music programs in school, high school, grammar school, college, University of Miami, School of Music for university, and kept studying privately my whole life since then. I love to be a musician because it's an amazing job. It's an amazing form of art. It's never ending. It's constant learning and constant achieving. One of the things I love about it the most, I think, is the short-term goal achievement of, I want to be able to do this, and a week later I can do it, or a month later I can do it. And I think that's a great human experience to reach goals, and it's great to develop the finisher in all of us. And many people start things but don't finish things. So I think that playing an instrument really helps you develop that, having those goals and reaching them. And it's been an amazing career. I mean, it's taken me all over the world, and I've met and seen so much stuff because of the drums, and so it's a huge blessing. A life-changing moment would be, for me, I mean, you can have those as far as like, oh, I played on this and it became very successful and won Grammys or anything like that. But for me, it was about really deciding that I was going to move to Los Angeles and do what I wanted to do, which was be a recording musician and be a session drummer. And in 1995, I packed up everything that I owned, which was basically a drum set and a computer and some CDs, and I put it in a van and I drove across the country by myself, moved to LA by myself with very little money, and I actually lived in a 8x10 storage closet at a rehearsal facility in Los Angeles for 13 months. I joined a gym so I could go shower and clean up every morning, and I just sat in that storage closet and practiced and went around Los Angeles meeting people and trying to develop, myself into that scene. And that was a very difficult time, but also crucial and exciting, and has made the difference in my whole life, choosing to tough that out and to do it. And, so that was key for me. Everything after that, became what I always wanted to do. I would check out things that I think are spectacular moments. There's records that I think are amazing musically. Some of the ones that stand out for me are, there's an Jarreau record called Tenderness, and it's actually a live record. Steve Gadd's the drummer. What I love about it, it was a live record in a controlled environment, so it sounds very much like a studio record, but it's being played live in front of a small audience. That's one of my favorites. Michael Brecker's Ballad book, Jack DeJohnette is the drummer. James Taylor's albums, live record with Carlos Vega, and some of the newer recordings with Steve Gadd. Other records that really influenced me recently is like Peter Gabriel's Up album. It's just such sonic art, and it's just how you make records, It has nothing to do with, playing on the radio. It has nothing to do with money. It has nothing to do with pop art. It has to do with just creating sonic art and amazing compositions, and done so well. Peter Gabriel's Up record, and I think that's Manu Katché, Steve Gadd, and Ged Lynch, I think, on that record. Yeah, and I'm, a lot of those, there's no exciting drumming as far as amazing solos or anything like that, but it's drumming that makes incredible music. There's obviously classic recordings like Tower of Power and Toto and different things like that have amazing drumming on them that I've always loved, but those particular recordings for me, there's one other one that I listen to a lot, and it's from a French saxophone player named Stefano di Battista. It's called Roundabout Roma, and it has André Ceccarelli on it, one of my favorite drummers, and just beautiful playing. And anybody who understands that music and can listen to that music and get out of it what it delivers, I think will be expanded, for their ears, their mind, and what it means to make music at a high level. I draw inspiration from my family, my child. I have an 8-year-old daughter. My wife, she's my best friend. And I draw inspiration from excellence. I like being around excellence. I want to see people do something at a really high level, and I want to be around that and experience that. For me, that keeps me driven to keep getting better and to keep working on things. And so really it's about excellence, and somebody blessing us with their talent at a really high level and doing it with excellence. That's the key, because there's a lot of people that have a really high talent level, but they don't try that hard. They might be blessed with a lot of talent, or maybe had worked on it previously, but for me it's seeing someone who keeps pushing forward and just trying to do the best at everything they do. My dream gig would definitely be James Taylor's band, or there's some gigs that I won't ever be able to do, like a Rush or something like that. But yeah, I would say Journey and Rush, James Taylor, Toto, some of those gigs. Peter Gabriel's band I would always love to play in. Sting was always a favorite of mine. Any of those gigs would be, I think, awesome. Just to play the music, you know, more than anything. I love great music. You take a look at James Taylor's band. Not a lot of drumming necessarily going on, but the music level is so high and the execution is so high. It was something that I always enjoyed. My life's motto is give more than what's expected in everything that you do. You know, simple business. Give less than what's expected, you're not coming back. You give exactly what's expected, got a 50-50 chance. You give more than what's expected, you'll be back every time. And along with that, I think creating an experience around you when you play that people are touched by it in a way. They see that your passion is in it and that you're concerned about them as a listener and what they're getting out of it, you know, not what I'm getting out of it. And I think that's the difference mentally or conceptually is I want to make sure that they're having a great experience, you know, not necessarily saying, hey, dig me and what I can do, but making sure that everyone walks away with a really positive feeling about what they just saw. Okay, so we were having a discussion earlier about using honesty in your playing or playing in an honest way through your art. And I thought an interesting demo of this would be something that I see a lot actually in a lot of different drummers and playing. And it's something that has affected me quite a bit as a session musician. And part of that is making great decisions. And I always tell musicians that there's two incredibly important words in everything that we do. First is intent or intention, meaning like, does it sound like you meant to do that? That's the first thing. And second thing is decisions. You could have amazing facility and ability on the drums. You can have great dynamics. You can have great technique. But if you make bad decisions, it turns out to be bad music. And one of those decisions that we come across a lot as an artist is in a moment of playing music, what am I going to do with that moment? Am I going to make a choice that this is the best thing for the music at that time? Or am I going to make a choice of, hey, dig what I can do? And I hear that a lot in a lot of different players, and it really stems out of doing recordings, I know, making the right choices, because a lot of things just don't translate on recordings like they do live. But most importantly, I think from just an honor perspective, playing honest through the instrument. So I'll give you a quick little example. Let's say I'm going to play a groove that's 16th note oriented, right? So the subdivision, the note flow is 16th notes. So immediately, I know that if I play triplets, for instance, that's a completely different subdivision or note flow. It's really going to break up the feel of that. But beyond that, I can also make another decision of what's best for that particular feel or groove at a given time. So I'll play something that's 16th note oriented, and I'll play what I would feel would be the right decision for that, and then I'll do it again and maybe do the wrong decision, okay? So here we go. 2. Let's do something that might be the wrong decision to make. And even though it might be cooler drumming-wise, it feels dishonest because at the moment that I choose to do it, I'm doing it because it's like, dig what I can do, you know, and maybe not the best thing for that particular feel. So here we go. you know, for me, it's hard for me to do that because I'm making decisions I don't want to make. But, you know, for me, when I hear that kind of stuff, it sounds immature. It sounds like a young child in a way, where it's like, why would you make that decision? You know, especially like that last one, you're playing, you know, 4-note phrased triplets inside of that groove. So anyway, I hope that might be a demonstration that might set you on a path of thinking about stuff like that. There's moments where great drumming is in great music, but it's not, you don't have to have great drumming to have great music. I mean, we've been proven that many, many times. So music first, drumming second. There's a huge difference between a great musician who plays the drums and a great drummer. So keep that in mind, and I hope it might help you make the right decisions and see the honesty and truth in your playing. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you very much for your time, Russ.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, sure. I'm delighted and honored to have you.
Thank you.
And I hope you got something out of this too. I did. And I also, because Russ always gives more than he has to, he gave me his CDs. I will check them out, and I'm sure they are great.
Thank you.
So I list a bunch of CDs that you played on.
Okay.
And check them below. Also check Russ' website, russmiller.com.
Yep.
And find out even more of what he did and what he does. And yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right. Bye.
Bye.